from your kind of experience in over the last 15 years, what is driving the innovation and sustainability change within architecture? Is that a client-driven change, or is that architects wanting to change, wanting to be better? Which is,
I think it's a purpose-driven change. It's about being relevant, and I think Danish architects have always been good at being relevant. That's why we are so strong compared to maybe Sweden or Norway, our Scandinavian neighbors. That we have been part of the political discussion. We have been part of driven certain agendas that taps into a broader community. So I think that's the purpose is to be relevant and bring something new. And again, it's just the last few years it have been more market driven with the ESG reporting, taxonomy coming up for the big corporate clients that we are seeing the last few years that is taking speed.
So up until a few years ago, it was really architectural innovation pushing on the market, but now we see the market pulling actually. They're wanting this now because legislative requirements and clients.
There's legislation requirement, financial requirement, but also the war or the challenge for young talent. We see that very much. That is not attracting the best talents into the organization is also how we should be sustainable.
And as you mentioned before, in terms of your projects, and people now really have an opinion on what they want to do. 15 years ago, maybe people they also had an opinion, but it wasn't as strong of an opinion within the kind of group workforce. But now that opinion is strong, and people don't want to work in certain jurisdictions.
And it's also an opinion that very much goes hand in hand with the personal life. I think 15 years ago, there was much more opinion on aesthetic and architecture. And what kind of, say, religion you were in aesthetic. And now it's much more about linking your personal life with your business life. So I think that have been really much changing the agenda.
I think people realize that we spend an awful lot of our lives in our offices working for companies. And so we somehow can't have it segregated from our personal ethics and our beliefs, right? We need to somehow integrate that because we're spending so much time at it. So it makes sense for people to really bring their personal home kind of life and perspective into their working culture and their working lives and making that decisions. I guess people have a bit of freedom at the moment. As you mentioned, everybody is looking for people, skilled people, and
it's a good market for the young generation.
Exactly. So it's an employees market, if you like. So we have the freedom to make those choices and say, actually, I don't want to work here. I'm going to look for someone else. And it's a great position to be in, to be fair. I think it's wonderful that people make those decisions to move and follow something that they believe in. But some of the things driving change I was thinking about, and when we reflect again on Ireland, I always use Ireland and Denmark as comparison here. The Danish authorities brought in a roadmap for digital transformation around 1999 or 2000 or something like that. They had an 8-year plan that developed into a 15-year plan that's still been reconditioned at the moment and so on. And I found that kind of hugely interesting because it was driving innovation from a top-down approach, saying, the public authority, this is what our strategy for digital transformation is going to be, and this is how it's going to help you as a citizen of Denmark. And I went, wow, that made sense to me then, how in Denmark, we are innovative in Denmark, and we look at change as a positive rather than negative in certain respects, and how then it has just naturally fit into our industry, whether it's architecture, engineering, it naturally fit in that we needed to be innovative because everything is evolving around us. And I think perhaps that's part of why architecture and engineering in Denmark is so progressive.
Part of pushing the industry, all governmental buildings should be in 3D and putting those ambition out that is becoming very, very concrete for what we do. I think that's, but I think also we are we are just on a limit to understand what it's like. We have very much discussion where is Henning Larsen in 5 years' time?
Yeah.
What kind of service do we provide? Of course, we provide architecture, but is there also, I think, the landscape of our competitors will look different in 10 years' time, both in regard to the build project, but also recruiting of talent. I think the whole gaming industry will move into architecture. That we will see some players that we don't see today. So I think that is where we keep our eyes and ears open for both young talent, but also to see new market opportunities.